So the Democrats are losing more black voters, and most notably, even some of the quote unquote great speakers on MSNBC, or as I like to call it, BSDNC, are getting really upset at protesters interrupting Democratic lawmakers, especially those that supposedly should be voting or falling in line with the Democratic establishment. And Sharpton, Al Sharpton, decided to get on his podium and accuse pro-Palestinian demonstrators of cowardice for interrupting Hakeem Jeffries at a New York City convention. That's right. That's right. Remember the guy who AOC is willing to support? Well, turns out he's not really pro-Palestinian. How we all know that AOC did a whole tantrum calling, that there's a genocide on the House floor. But yet, remember, Hakeem Jeffries takes AIPAC money, that delicious, sweet AIPAC money. What do I mean by this here? Let me first pull this up here, because we got a video here too as well. So let's go and pull this up here. So Sharpton accuses pro-Palestinian demonstrators of cowardice for interrupting Jeffries at NYC convention. Oh, what's going on here? This is from the Gospels, of course. The Reverend Al Sharpton decreed a group of demonstrators protesting Israel's offense in Gaza after they shouted down House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries during a Saturday morning speech at the National Action Network convention. We had the governors, 3 governors, all kinds of white officials, and none of them paid rent. Rent a Toms disrupted them. Sharpton said repeatedly, a racially loaded insult he's often used in the past. Protesters shouted about aid to Israel and the death toll in Gaza, interrupted Jeffries multiple times inside the Sheraton Times Square Hotel, ooh la la, where the convention has been underway this week. It's unclear if the demonstrators were invited to the convention, but they began shouting shortly after Jeffries took the podium. The ongoing war in Gaza has riven both state and national Democrats. The party has a history of supporting Israel, but its left flank has held unceasing protests over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, which is, I just feel so vindicated. Vote blue no matter who. All you sycophants who kept saying that Biden and the Democrats have our best interests at heart. If you were bullied by these vote blue no matter who people, go back to them and smack them in the mouth. All right. All what they're going to do is dust out that old playbook and make you feel guilty and sad. We've covered on this show on how corporate media and the Democrats are shocked and aghast how black voters or Latino voters or women voters, hell, all voters are leaving the Democratic coalition because they're not impressed with the Democratic policies. They're upset with Joe Biden's both national and foreign policies that are severely impacting the lives of all of us. Now, I did say that the number one issue was going to be the economy. And it is. It still is. The number one issue right now impacting many Americans is the economy. But number 2 is the potential of a World War III. I know, the sequel we've all been waiting for. Sharpton and his National Action Network are crucial allies for Democrats locally and nationally, and are frequently to the left of mainstream Democrats on issues such as criminal justice. I don't believe them for one single second that they are on the left. But Sharpton was an early defender. Al Sharpton was an early defender of Israel in the wake of Hamas attack on October 7th. So first of all, I said this before, but just want to take down this article here real quick. Always ask yourself, those that were around during the civil rights movement, those that stood by Malcolm X, or were in photos with Malcolm X or Dr. Martin Luther King, and ask yourself, really, this serious question. Why are they still around and got those nice, cushy jobs at corporate media, be it CNN or MSNBC? Or either that, have a nice little cushy job, maybe being an advisor to the Democratic Party, be it at the state level or federal level. These great titans that knew the legends like Dr. King and Malcolm X. I mean, and to be fair here, hey guys, look, spoiler alert, Malcolm X and Dr. King are no longer with us. But ask yourself why some of their, third in commands or fourth in command people are still around. It's not like you would be tricked or emotionally tugged to vote Democrat because they were there. It's not like, they'd be used as sheep herders to get everyone into voting blue no matter who. I mean, that would never, ever happen in like 1,000 years. That would never happen for people to be manipulated by their emotions and feelings of a bygone era. I'm just saying, folks, sometimes you got to ask yourself, well, wait a minute. If Malcolm X and Dr. King aren't around and they were troublemakers, why is it some of their other followers are still around, but yet they got those nice cushy jobs? A deal could never be made, right? No, that would never happen. Never, never, never. Jeffries, who is in line to be the next Democrat House Speaker, has had the backing of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, as we all like to call them, for years. He released a statement this week supporting Biden's call for a negotiated resolution to the conflict that lays the foundation for a just and lasting peace between Israel and the Palestinian people. I appreciate folks exercising their First Amendment rights. First Amendment rights. Are we going to have those around pretty soon? I don't think so. But we're not in session in Washington, Jeffries said on Saturday, pausing between interruptions. So I've got all day. After introducing Jeffries, Sharpton returned to the podium to admonish the protesters. You got guts when a black man stand up. We had Biden here. You had nothing to say. You're a bunch of rented Uncle Tom, Sharpton said. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. You just wait 1 minute. I've seen my fair share of plenty of protesters interrupt Joe Biden. And all across the country, I've seen that. And you want to know what I see from the audience, especially from the white liberal audience? You know what they're saying? They're saying, shut up. That's what they're doing. They're saying, shut up. And these are liberal Democrats. You would expect that from, I don't know, maybe a Trump supporter, but no. Maybe a Trump gathering. Yeah, maybe. But these are Democrats. So, Reverend Al Sharpton, I have seen people interrupt Joe Biden. All sorts of protesters do that. Jeffries has defended progressive members of his caucus with deeply critical views of the Israel-Hamas war, including Representative Jamal Bowman, who's struggling right now, who faces a serious primary threat from AIPAC-backed Westchester County Executive George Latmeyer. Jeffries recently endorsed Bowman, making him the highest-ranking Democrat in Washington to weigh in on the closely watched primary. Andy Akar, a spokesperson for Jeffries, did not directly comment on Sharpton's remarks, but said in a statement that the comments made by leader Hakeem Jeffries at the National Network rally speak for themselves. Spokespeople for the National Action Network and Bowman's campaign did not immediately return requests for comment. So let's talk about this video. Why has it gone viral? First of all, shout out to Sabby Sabs and Mustafa D. Thank you, Jose Vega, for reigniting the spirits of the oppressed. You did this. You are the ruckus. So let's go ahead and play this video. That is the ruckus.
President Biden's leadership, Democrats,
you're a war criminal. How do you sleep at night?
Jeffries, you use the guns of democracy and diplomacy to do the bidding of a racist, white supremacist,
Carrying a bill for $14 billion to kill people in Gaza. They murdered 14,000 children.
together, others are.
Here you go.
Now, hold on. I do want to play this video. And for all of you who are watching right now, I promise you this. I will be raising up the volume for this clip segment, so that way you guys can hear a little bit more. I know that the audio was a little bit low, but I do want to play something here as well. Because one thing that kind of really grinded my gears, especially from that article, was that People are not protesting or confronting Joe Biden. Just want to pull up this video here. That yes, people are protesting and confronting Joe Biden. Let's play it.
Joe and I had a chance to sit down.
Genocide Joe! How many kids have you killed in Gaza? How many women have you killed in Gaza? Palestine is a feminist issue. Palestine is a feminist issue. Gaza is a feminist issue.
Don't you love it when the sheep say 4 more years? These are the same people who have written on their social media posts, oh, we can't have Hitler 2.0 in office. We can't, we have to be subservient to the Democrats. We have to stand up against Trump. These are the same people who I've said before who probably have that LARP fantasy, that Dungeons and Dragons fantasy. If I was alive during the Civil War era, I would have freed the slaves. If I was around during World War II, I would have hid the Jews. No, you would not have. You would have complied and followed orders. You would have been ratting out people. If you knew about the Underground Railroad, all those people say, I would have freed the slaves, you would have ratted them out. Right? If the SS political police were knocking on your door in 1940s Germania, you'd be like, I think there's somebody next door. Trust me on it. All those people who say, I'm part of the resistance are the biggest frauds ever. Case in point, evidence right here. What we are witnessing. By the way, anyone who's saying, oh, people don't have guts to confront Biden. No, people do.
Gaza is a feminist issue. Let Gaza live. 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 Let Gaza live.
Don't you love the sheep? By the way, I find it funny that they got the Restore Roe. You know, the Democrats had decades to do this, right? Codify Roe v. Wade. The reason why they didn't, especially to all the white feminists out there, is because it was fundraising money. All right. It was a good way for all you suckers, I mean voters, to empty out your wallet.
Joe and I had a chance to sit down and talk with Amanda and her husband Josh. I told you how proud we were of your courage, Amanda, standing up and speaking out on such a personal issue. It helps so many women.
Yeah, wow. Again. This is the same Joe Biden. By the way, I hope that audience would never, ever, 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 ever come across an article in which Joe Biden voiced his opinion of being against Roe v. Wade. I hope they never find out that Joe Biden never wanted his white kids to be integrated with black kids. Heaven forbid you find out that guy was against integration, against busing. Heaven forbid that the liberal crowd finds out that man is the architect of the crime bill. Hey, but Hakeem Jeffries and all the vote blue no matter who sycophants say, you got to support Joe. And I love the hypocrisy too. By the way, I almost forgot this, all right? Because over the weekend, I was reminded of the white feminists' great tragedy story of that is The Handmaid's Tale, right? The book is great. The TV show, far in the wind. But all of these women here, right, are saying, hey, restore Roe, women's right to choose, all that good stuff, right? All that good stuff. But when you have these activists, these heroic people say, hey, women are dying in Gaza, none of these women in there care. They're like, no, 4 more years for Joe. And then they probably go ahead, pour a box of wine, and watch Handmaid's Tale like, we can't have Trump in office. It'll be terrible. I'll be so oppressed. Four more years. These are sheep, and these are not serious people. These are individuals who are mentally stunted and easily triggered by the fact that, yes, you guessed it. You guessed it. They just don't want to have their worldview shattered. They want to remain at brunch. But yet, look at how much the liberals will compromise. No, seriously, look at how much liberals will compromise so that their worldview is never challenged. Look at what they're willing to sacrifice and put on the altar. And Democrats are wondering why they're losing black voters. Democrats are wondering why they're losing their voting base. Progressives, I get it. You don't like Trump, all right? But look at what you're compromising with. The Democrats will tell you things you want to hear, and then they'll screw you as soon as you give them what they want. It doesn't matter who sits on the throne. You do realize that Goldman Sachs will have the final word before you ever, after, for how long, trying to chime your voice in? It doesn't work that way. The establishment wants to keep you silenced and suppressed because that's what the establishment wants. It's how the whole system is designed. And yet the Democrats are saying that, oh, people aren't brave. They're talking down to these activists and organizers. So to those uncommitted voters, to those people who voted uncommitted or voted for Gaza or whatever, to all those people who are just leaving the Democratic Party, now's the time to be consistent because they've made it clear how they feel about you, as have all those liberals too who tell you to shut up, shut up, shut up. They don't like you. They don't respect you, but they demand your vote. You don't owe them your vote. Simple as that.